what is data warehouse, that we might be knowing it, but anyhow, just for all introduction, I will be starting with Snow cloud data warehouse introduction and cloud data warehousing. So why cloud data warehousing is more hot today, or what is the need of going for cloud data warehousing? So that is how we are going to discuss, and then we are going to see about some of the advantages of Snowflake, and a little bit about how Snowflake is functioning in a practical manner. We are going to see that. So that is how this demo is going to be, right? So this course, so this is what the subjects we are going to talk about in the actual course. So you can make use of them. So how these things are happening here, right? Then, so data warehouse is a dedicated system for storing and analyzing, just for analyzing data. So wherever you got the operational data, so we are going to fetch it from various sources. We know that sources, ETL tool, if you want a staging tool, staging storage, and then again another ETL, and then it will be going to the data warehouse. So I'm just briefing it. So if it's in a real class, we can do more kind of explanation about data warehouse. So that is what a kind of data warehouse is about. So storing data from various sources and integrate them together, right? So that is how it goes, and we are going to do analysis on the data, all kind of analysis. So it would be revealing the trends, what is going on, and what pattern of data is being recorded over there, and what are the relationship between disparate type of data. So that is what the actual kind of warehouse. So the warehouse is analyzed day-to-day activities, and sometime earlier we are loading weekly wise data or something like historical data is what the main strength about the data warehouse. But nowadays, the recent years, maybe in the recent 5 years or decade, you can talk about. So we are in a need of analyzing data very fast manner, that is day to day or even hours to hours. We need to do analysis over there. So that is a kind of demand we are having. Okay, so this is how a data warehouse looks like. So that is how you can see that how this process is going on, right? So taking data from sources through ETL, we are loading into EW and creating specific data marts and used by the analytics people. So this is how the growth of data warehouse. I don't want to spend more time on this one. I hope you'll be understanding that data warehouse has been growing from the beginning. That is, they have started data warehouse in late 80s itself. These stuff started, and in the early 2000, this has become one of the important technologies to be used for any growing organization. So it has been grown to this much of users. So now, maybe some of the bigger companies only were using earlier. Now even middle and small companies also have started using. So that is what I have defined here. And data analysis is paying them a very good growth for the business. So they are finding the difference between how we analyze data and how we are going to use them in their business analysis process. Okay, so that is what the growth of data warehouse is about. So you can see that earlier we were using relational databases, then the data warehouse appliances, and now into the cloud data warehouse. Okay. So data warehouse has expanded beyond internal business operation. So you have a lot of objects which produce data nowadays. So earlier the data has been provided using the operational data only, but now we have a lot of machines, websites, mobile phones, IoT, that is Internet of Things devices. So everyone are loading data into it. So we have a lot of growing challenges where we have numerous sources. So we have a lot of traditional architectures, which is creating a competition between users and activities. And the demand also, day-to-day demand is been increasing for storage and for workload. So more of this are having a lot of struggle in between the users and the competitors. So these are the growing challenges we have. So we need to address them. So we have an integrated analytics, and we need to have an ad hoc analytics, and we need to have a data silo consolidation. That means that we are going to load data into a single place, and we need to have analysis over there. So this data is getting complex and complex because of the size. It has been increased from TBs to PBs. So ZBs, it is going to increase. So it becomes more complex. So the data warehouse and Hadoop, these two are currently working. That means in recent times. So we have seen that these can handle complexity and the elasticity, that is expanding to the needs, how it can do and how much it can cost. So these are all having some kind of solution, but for today's scenario, it is not enough. So this is a kind of, again, another architecture I'm showing you. So now we are having some other technologies, so which these technologies have been used. And that is what Snowflake also using here. Cloud is having almost a near infinite and a very low cost storage. It can have a improved scalability. That is what elasticity. That is the main advantage of a cloud. So it is all managed by the cloud vendor itself. The security and everything is managed by them, and you will be paying only for whatever you are storing and whatever you are processing. That is what computing. So that only you will going to store, pay. And MPP is what parallel processing. So a single computing can be distributed across multiple processors, and it can provide a faster storage and analysis. Columnar storage, instead of the traditional way of storing data in a row wise, so we are going to store in column wise. So where it can provide much faster response, so that you can take only which are the column relevant for that particular analysis. So that is what columnar storage is about. And vectorized processing, so we need to get the advantage of the computer chip designs wherever we are using, and it is more optimized for vectorized processing. So the linear processing, it can be changed into this, and it can take the advantage for doing processing more faster. Similarly, hard disks are also can boost the process speed, where it can accelerate the data storage and retrieval can be done in a very fast manner because it was stored in memory chips. So these are the application. You can see how the cloud computing has been working. So where you have a platform infrastructure application, everything else is provided by the cloud vendor. Just we need to connect, we need to configure and work. So no need to worry about what hardware is needed and what are the software we need to require and what licenses to be get and how to configure them according to our needs. So these are all, these kind of jobs are eliminated when you are using a cloud computing. So cloud computing is the on-demand availability. So in the Wikipedia, just I am added. So how the public opinion about this. So you have a cloud to a single organization, or it can be available for public. So both is available here. Generally, what is a cloud computing? There is some data centers and some computers which are available on the net, and you can use them from anywhere. That is what a cloud computing is about. Three type of services. I'm not going to do much into this one. Just I'm talking about, so infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Three type of cloud services there. So where, how much the cloud vendor and the user, that is us, how much we are going to participate. That is what the difference between these two. So the capabilities of the software are identical to the on-premises hardware. So the hardware only is provided by the cloud vendor. Software and everything will be managed by the user. So that is what infrastructure as a service. Then the next level is platform as a service. So they will provide software and hardware also, but we need to do the management, tuning, optimizing, everything else that a customer has to do. But in a software as a service, everything is provided, and each and every management, optimization, licensing, everything else will be covered by the vendor itself. So we have very less um, um, responsibilities. We have very less work to do about the configuration and other things. So we can concentrate on our job, our organization's work. So that is how this software as a service has been working on. And Snowflake is one of the software as a service product. Okay, so that's what we have seen so far. So the cloud data warehouse can significantly improve your quality, operational efficiency, innovation, and the customer experience and all. So that is how this data warehouse are useful. So what is required is we don't need to any contention. We need to have no contention. So continuous data loading should happen. We need to compress data because the data what we are having is a very huge number, and we should not face any complexity on accessing the data. That is, if the SQL is being used, it will be very easier, because when we are handling data, to the three type of data is there. Now, structured data, which is our traditional relational database and other data. Then semi-structured data, where we can have XML, JSON, or some other format, Parquet. These are kind of formats are available. Then we'll be having kind of unstructured data, where we don't expect in any type of structure. It can be anything like a normal file, or it can be a video clips, something like that, right? So these are all needs to be loaded separately in earlier tools, and you have to manage them separately with a different type of approach. Now you can use a normal SQL itself, which most of the people who are dealing with data are familiar with. The structured query language can be used to access both structured and semi-structured data, which is a very nice thing about. Then so it can reduce the complexity. Then we can do the ETL and ELT. These two are almost same process, but the difference is the time taken for doing it. So ETL will take a lot of time because the transformation will be applied before loading the data. Here we load the data very quickly, so it is available immediately for the end users. Then whenever needed, we do this transformation. So the final thing is about the security. So how you can secure your data more, because a lot of people will be having a worry about because it is in public cloud, how much my data can be secured. So it provides you 100% security, and it gives you all the way how it is being secured. And even when it is stored, it is encrypted and stored. So some places you can see that while you are retrieving data, you read the data. When it is transferred from one place to another, then only you are encrypting and sending it. But here, while storing itself, it is being encrypted and stored. So that gives you a big advantage of security. Okay, so that is what I'm doing again also. So we'll go for the Snowflake. Snowflake is one single solution for all kind of business data. So whether you are going for a HDFS kind of data, that is big data, structured data, semi-structured data, relational databases. So any kind of stuff can be given here inside Snowflake with faster access and less cost. So we have a type of architecture here: share nothing, and we are sharing data. Both two type of things there, where these are all used. Any one of them only will be used by the traditional storage devices, but the Snowflake is using something like a hybrid. That is, it is using multi-cluster and the shared data also. So it is having a centralized scale out storage. So the storage can be increased at any point of time, and whenever you don't need it, you can decrease them also. And similarly, the compute resources, that is the processors. So how much processor it needs. So if the users are increased, so you can increase them automatically. And if the crowd is being reduced, so you can decrease this storage and compute devices also. So that is what we call it as elasticity. Okay. So these are the advantages. I just go through them quickly. I'm not going to do it all this stuff here. Okay. So just you take a look on this. So we are just going through this quickly. Data warehousing, cloud, big data. All this stuff has been reinvented, and they have been given a new kind of structure. You are seeing this data warehouse over here. Okay. Fine. So how the traditional big data pipeline is working. So they need a separate process for loading JSON file. That means semi-structured data and structured data. But here in Snowflake, so we are handling both together. Even your in the same table itself, you can database itself, you can store both of your structured and semi-structured data. That's the biggest advantage we have. So it fits into your ecosystem, that is your existing additional tools. So where you have other third-party tools which we are working with on different levels. So in data management or in ETL, we in the diverse data sources and what reporting and analysis systems you have. So all of them can be used easily with Snowflake. Okay. So we don't have any code or constraints to be done. It is running in Amazon Web Services normally, but currently they are running on Azure and Google Cloud, GCP also. And no infrastructure or anything to be done for the management of your data, so which is delivered as a service, and you can deploy all kind of data into one single place. So this is what Snowflake is providing you. So I think we have done something enough here. So I'll just show you how the Snowflake is working. So I just summarize this. What is available here is your traditional data warehouse system needs to be scale in or scale out. That means if you want to add more servers or if you want to add the capacity of an existing server, that has to be done manually and it needs some maintenance time and cost. But in Snowflake, it is not required. Within seconds, you can increase the capacity of your data warehouse. You can increase the capacity of your storage, everything else, right? So that is one thing. We call it as elasticity. Another thing is about the availability. Another one is about the security you have here. And another one is the capability of handling different type of storages, structured and unstructured. Okay, so these are the biggest advantages of Snowflake. Now, okay, so that's what I'm showing you here. So where it is found and all. So I think it's not much needed now to go through this. So just take a look on this virtual private cloud where Snowflake is using something similar to this kind of architecture. Shared disk and shared nothing, both of them together, it forms the Snowflake architecture. Okay. So it takes the advantages of both. So you will get a very nice kind of architecture now. Okay. Automatic scaling. Separate compute storage and cloud services. So you will be paying for what you use only, right? So this is how Snowflake architecture looks like. So it has multiple services behind. So how the compute is working, how the storage is working. Storage is doing a very excellent job here where it is using the storage of your cloud computing only. Okay, actually it is not stored in traditional databases. In the background I'm talking about. You will be accessing it as a database, but actually in the background it is stored as micro partitions as in a file system. It is having its own algorithm for storing and retrieving data in a very fast manner. Okay, so we call them as micro partitions. So we'll be learning them once we get into the actual what benefits on each of these services in Snowflake. Okay. Each architecture, how much it is benefitable. So we need to know about how this architecture is created, so that then only we'll be able to use them properly. Okay. So that is how you see that clusters, storages, compute. EC2 is one of the service in AWS that is being used. In storage, we are using S3. Okay. Something like that it is happening. How the data is being stored and why it is so faster, how the compute is being managed. So those things I am explaining here more. Not now, I'm just going through it a little faster. I think you understand how these things are going on. Right. Fine. So what Snowflake contains. So how you need to access Snowflake. Snowflake is providing you a web user interface and a command line client called as SnowSQL. So only these two way you can connect directly for doing developments. Then other users, so the business users and the end users, so those people will be using any kind of application. So we can use Python, Spark. You can use with some other application, .NET, Java, whatever application you have. And you can use some third-party tools, that is your analysis tool like Tableau, Cognos, or Power BI, any ETL tool, Informatica, Talent, whatever type of tools. So every tools are having a Snowflake connector nowadays. So the Snowflake is providing a driver connector and a way of connecting with multiple tools. Okay, so we don't have any issues about connection. So then you have to register yourself within Snowflake for creating an account. You can use any one of this platform, that is AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. Any one of this you can choose. They don't have any big difference in performance or cost wise. A very small difference will be there. You need to choose according to what your organization is working with currently. So you can choose that one. That will be an advantage of it. Then how we are connecting with Andar. Okay, so that is how it goes on. So I may be able to give you a small kind of I'll just show you how okay, so I'm just sharing now. Hope you can see that. So this is how Snowflake, just you have to do is you need to have this URL. Once you register, they will provide you an URL. So we need to go to that URL and it will ask for username and password, which you have given earlier. You enter it. So this is how your Snowflake web interface looks like. So we have databases, warehouses. These two are the main thing. Databases is what we store data. Warehouses, just they have given a name warehouse, but these are all the computers, right? So where your processing is taking place. So when you go to a warehouse, you see that we have a warehouse here. So the size is, it is mentioned as X large, and how many clusters are there, and what are the other properties of this warehouse. So let me go inside this warehouse, see that. So this warehouse, what are the usages? I have not used much. I have created just now only. So what you are using here, and what is the usage at any point of time, so that you can view this from the warehouses. Similar to that, you can go to configure. So where you can show the configuration of this. So you can change this configuration at any point of time. The size of the warehouse depends on the usage. So when I have a larger usage, that means a lot of computing should be done. Many users are connecting. So we can go for a higher size and lower size, whatever it is. So the lowest size is X small, which will be billing will be done for 1 credit per hour. 1 credit means it depends upon which cloud vendor you have taken, which location, region you have taken. Okay, so that depends on that. So in US, it will be costing little less, very small changes only. For example, if you are taking in India, it may cost $3.2 per hour. Okay, fine, thank you. So that is how it goes. So configuring a warehouse, it is, so you can choose any one of this kind of storages, right? So in India, it may cost $3.2, and in US, it may cost just $3. That's all. Very a few difference will be there, right? So what these are, so XMall means you can keep it like it is having a single core, yeah, with a 4 GB RAM with a processor of 1.5 megahertz, something like that. I'm not telling the exact configuration, so we are not knowing about what configuration is. So this is the kind of configuration we can have on XMall. So what happens here is you will be using it only for a very small kind of processing. When your users have been added, when the data is been growing more, so we go for higher configuration. Okay, so that is how we do. Similarly, we have two options here. You just see that auto suspend and auto resume. That means that when your data warehouse is not being used for more than 10 minutes of time in this one, so we can have less than that also, 5 minutes also we can keep. So if you are not having any processes going on, so nobody logging in or something like that, no activity is happening on that one, so it may go to suspend mode. So what is the advantage of suspend mode is you will not be get billed. Okay, that will not be counted for billing purpose. So that is what suspend mode is about. So what happens if the suspend mode, if a person is processing a query from somewhere else? So this is what this auto resume is there. So this auto resume will be able to get this fraction of second, your data warehouse will get resume. Your warehouse will get resume. So that means that only when you are using it, you will get billed. Okay, so that is a very nice thing about. Okay, so that is one thing. Similarly, when you go for databases, okay, only two things there. One, you are going to store. Another one, you are going to compute. Only. Okay, so just two things about. So in the databases, we have some sample databases over there. So if you take a look on this database, so you can see that we have several schemas under that. You see a lot of schemas available, very similar to our traditional relational database, it looks like. So you are grouping these tables under schemas. Okay, so that is how it works like. And you have views there, so you can create different views. Same concept as data warehouse. So how you are going to create a view and what is the use of a view. So we have these two. But one more additional kind of view here is materialized view. Okay, so that is one advantage of Snowflake. We'll be seeing that later about. So then about the schemas. So what are the schemas available here? Under schemas, we will be having multiple tables. Then stages, file formats, sequences. So these three are available only for Snowflake databases. So what are they? Is stages means, so before loading data into an actual database, so we need to create stages. We can load directly into a database also, but stages are used for some kind of specific purpose where we need to take it to the stage and we can do any kind of a small transformation. That is, you can take only a portion of them, you can modify them, you can do some calculation or something like that. Then you can take it from that. So that is how the stages are useful. And when you are taking data from a local file system, or when you are taking from a external file system, that is any cloud data warehouse you are using, I'm sorry, cloud storage you are using. So stages are very useful on that time. And we need to specify what type of file format we are going to use, whether it is a CSV or JSON, XML, many file formats are there. So we have to specify what file format. So these file formats can be created and stored inside that. The definition, we are creating a definition of a file format, and it will be addressed by a name. That is one thing. Then the sequences are about equivalent to the identity column or something like, where it can generate sequential numbers together. Okay, so that is how these databases are working here. And what about sharing is you can share this across your organization, even beyond that also. That is because that is one of the main thing. Whenever you create data warehouse, that warehouse should be shared with multiple users. So we need to create a sharing once we create a database, and that is how it will be showing you how you can share them. We need to enable it, and we can do it. Then worksheets. Worksheets are where we are going to use them. We'll be using them for running the queries. So I have created some kind of sample queries here. So where we do, whatever we do here is about, so we can use the queries for creating or managing any object inside Snowflake. So here we have options of, you can go here, you create, if you click create, it will give you the options of creating a new warehouse and all. Okay, that is fine. Similarly for databases, shares, everything you can create from the web URI, but it's not like every developer will be comfortable with going with this, because it is limited and we have we may take a lot of time over there. So for that, what we do is we have an option of going for the queries. So you can do anything with this query. You can create a database, you can create data warehouse, you can change the size of the data warehouse, you can reduce the storage, you can increase the storage, you can copy the data, you can create a stage, you can copy the data from stage to a table. So much of things can be done with queries. And we have one more a tool here called as SnowSQL. So where this, okay, where this SnowSQL is a command line tool. So it's very similar to your DOS commands or something like that, Unix, Linux commands and all, right? So you will be connecting with a command window, and you will be providing instructions for working with the Snowflake commands. And you can create a SQL file also, and you can execute that file. Okay, so many ways of using them, and you can see that we can create a database. So once, if you want to create it, you can just run this. So you can see the database whether successfully created. So I can, you can see that here we see this is what currently we are having. So we are a sysadmin, and what warehouse we are using. So if you have multiple warehouses, I can just use that warehouse anytime. I can choose them. So what database and what is the schema. So these are the information you are getting about your current scenario. So similar to that, we can use them. So we get it done. You see that. So I can just run this. So this can create a table, and I'm creating a stage also, right? Staging is nothing but I am pointing out to a location. S3 is a location where it is available in AWS. Then I can know that what all the storage area is available. You can see that in the screen. You see a lot of storage area. These are all. So we call them as stages, defining. Then from there, we are going to copy. That is, it is available in the cloud. From the cloud, we are going to take it into the Snowflake. So this is how the copy command is working. Okay, we'll be seeing this syntax and all, very simple syntax, very closely related with the SQL, normal SQL, any SQL you are doing with. Okay, now the data is loaded. You see that data is loaded in very less time. You can see, if you open the history, it will show you how much time it has taken for every operation. Okay, it is showing you. So every query execution. So you can go to the more detail also about every query ID and why it is taking so long time. You can tune them, something like. Okay, if you select this data, this is JSON data, that is, it is a semi-structured data. So this data looks something similar to this. You see that it is something similar to this. So if I want to access them in a like a normal traditional relational database system, so I create a view for this one. So I am creating a view now. So the view is created successfully. Then I'm just going to select some information from this view. So now this is looking like a normal table kind of thing. Okay, so this is how I'm going to work. This is one portion of that. So other than that, what are the things we have in Snowflake? So you can just see that we have okay, so I'm just showing you kind of okay. So please take a look here. So this is the virtual warehouse. So where I have given you what is this and all. Micro partitioning is one of the strength of cloud data warehouse in Snowflake. Clustering, how these things are being taken, views, stages, external tables, time travel, fail safe, pipelines of data, which automatic ingestion of data can happen, right? Secure data sharing. Okay, so these are all what security.